The views of the guest are that of the guests and do not represent nor reflect the views and opinions of the Lockoutmen channel, the Recruiter Call channel, nor its host. This site content is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only.
No problem. Like I said, I've seen your channel before, and I like your content. I actually thought it was pretty cool that you actually reached out. I was like, oh crap, I actually get to be.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
All right, welcome to the show, man. I really do appreciate you stepping up in the building and chopping it up with me, man. Before I get into it, I had a friend, a trucker friend. May he rest in peace. His name was Big Country as well, but he spelled his with a C and you spelled yours with a K. So much respect to much respect to the name, man. So before we get into it, man, we must jump into the elephant in the room, bruh. Your comment session was going off on the visualization of your cab.
Hold on.
Yeah. Which I don't understand. I don't see what everybody's talking. I literally spent 2 hours detailing it and everything. I mean, yeah, there's a pile of bags, emergencies only. I mean, we all know that there's times when you don't have a bathroom. But I mean, I spent 2 hours detailing it. Of course, the truck itself was just a piece of shit. I mean, it wasn't even detailed when I got it. I left it in better condition than it was when I got in it.
Well, some people from TikTok, they're just regular folks. You know what I'm saying? They never understand the situations that we go through out here. Now, me personally, I don't have I don't have that convenience in my truck. When I got into the truck back in the day, back in 2014, I thought it was weird because my trainer who was training me, he had one. And I'm looking at that like, what's this right here, bruh? Oh, yeah, that's your emergency bathroom, my guy. Emergency bathroom? When we gonna need some emergency bathroom that we can't just pull over and go to the truck stop or rest area? He was like, nah, man. Oh, no, man. No, sir. No, you gonna learn today.
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today.
Right.
He said you're gonna learn today, my guy. So inside of that particular cab, is all their trucks like that? You don't have a passenger seat in the truck, or is that just the truck that you wanted like that?
Some of them do, some of them don't. That one, when I got into it, just didn't have one, which was cool with me because, I mean, it gave me more space in there. I mean, before I actually cleaned it out, I had like a little dresser sitting over there and had my coffee pot and sitting on top of it and everything. I used it kind of like a cook surface, put my electric skillet on and stuff, cook in the truck and everything. And then where that cabinet had been taken out, that was like that too when I got in there, and I just had put me a refrigerator up on top of that right there. So I had a full-size refrigerator right there with the freezer on top and the fridge on the bottom and everything.
Okay.
And some of them, all the trucks he's got are single bunk, but some of them do have passenger seat and everything. But they're all older trucks, though. He doesn't really have any new trucks. They're all pretty much 2017 or older. Now, I did hear rumors that he did recently just buy 2 2025 Freightliners, but I haven't seen them, so I don't know.
This is like an ongoing topic amongst us truck drivers because I brought this up some time ago. I used to work for a company. Their trucks wasn't in that good condition. They had 2016s, 2017s. They considered their new truck like a 2018 was like their newest truck. And I think I drove for them between 2020 and 2021, but their newest truck is a 2018. So I didn't let that bother me because the money was good. It was a small company, small outfit. Freight was popping. popping at that time. And I looked at the pros and cons of it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're trying to save money on getting these crappy ass trucks so they can give us the money to make our settlements a little bit better. What do you think about that? Was that the consensus of this particular company you was driving for?
Well, not really. I mean, the only reason I really ended up here was because I had an incident September of last year, and I was carrying a firearm on the truck, and I shouldn't have. Anyway, long story short, I lost my job and everything, and I had a couple speeding tickets on my record and was having a hard time finding somebody, so I found that company through a friend of mine who was actually working there, and he managed to get me hired on. He normally doesn't even hire out of Louisiana where I live at, but he hired me as a favor to my friend. But as far as like the trucks and everything, I mean, I've never been a real like concerned person as far as the truck. Like, I could care less if it's stick shift or an automatic. I mean, I prefer a stick shift, but I don't care about as long as the truck's making me money. That's what I look at. I don't necessarily look as though I've got a new truck or I got an old truck. The condition of the truck really doesn't bother me. As long as it runs good, it keeps me on the road, I'm not sitting there broke down all the time, and I'm making money, then I'm happy. And overall, when I first started with them, it wasn't really that bad. I was doing plants for him, and we would unload the trailers ourselves, and we would deliver flowers and plants to Home Depot and Lowe's and around all the way out to like Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, and Alabama, and that's what we were doing. I was making good money then. But when that ended and we went into hauling produce, because I mean, obviously, you know, flowers isn't a year-round thing, and that's when it just kind of went downhill. And then the last I would say about 3 to 4 months, I wasn't making no money. And I was literally coming home with $500-$600 paychecks, and I'd tell him, I'm like, well, you know, you're starving me out here. All these drivers. And I mean, even before I quit, he had like 5 or 6 drivers quit over the same very reason, because we're just not making no money. And my personal opinion with the matter is that I don't really think he knows how to run a trucking company, for one. I mean, most companies, I understand there's slow times and everything. I know that the market goes up, it goes down, it fluctuates. That's trucking. But he literally won't expand out and get out of his comfort zone. He'll sit there and, we just can't find no loads. Bro, I can sit there and get on a load board on my phone and find 10 loads right now. But you say there's nothing. And that was my whole issue. It's just the sitting around, and then the fact that he doesn't pay health insurance or any benefits, he doesn't pay detention time, he doesn't pay layover pay, and he's paying percentage, but yet he never tells you what the load pays. You never get to see the rate con, and he takes 10% off top before you even get your percentage.
So basically this was a 1099 deal?
No, it's W-2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's W-2. He takes taxes out.
Okay, so W-2, but with all that said, he didn't offer no type of benefits, no type of health, no type of dental, no type of nothing. Just straight take the taxes out. It makes it easy for you, and then you just get paid. That's pretty much it.
Correct.
Wow, man.
But like I said, my issue with it is that, my issue with it is that you never knew what you're getting paid. You're getting paid 25% of the load, but you never know what the load's paying. They won't ever tell you. If you ask about it, they won't tell you. Like when they would send you the load info, they'd send you a picture on the phone, but the only information that would be on there is your pickup information and everything. They would have a piece of paper covering up the money and everything, so you couldn't see what they were making on the load. Therefore, you didn't know what your 25% was. So you don't know if you're getting screwed or not, which clearly we were.
But do you feel like that the company, because of your situation, and he did your friend a solid by bringing you on, do you feel like because of your situation is the reason why he was treating you that way? He was pretty much getting away with a lot of stuff that he probably wouldn't get away with someone with a cleaner background.
I don't feel like I was targeted or anything, if that's what you're getting at. From my standpoint, and the other drivers I've talked to, he was doing the same thing to everybody. I mean, my buddy that got me hired on, he quit before I did. He's been quit from over there for over 3 months, and I just quit yesterday.
Wow. I never been in a situation that a buddy of mine or a friend of mine brought me onto a company, and let's say I worked with that company for a while, but then turn around to find out that my buddy up and quit for whatever reason that he had. But I have talked to truck drivers that been in that situation, like they would come on because their friend worked for that company, that friend got them in there, that friend got the referral bonus or something like that. Or let's say this, like somebody was like trying to recruit guys to come in for their referral bonus, only to quit because of nefarious reasons. And here you are like, bro, I'm over here working for this company that you said at one time was a good company. What the hell, man?
Right. And I mean, and he didn't even get nothing. He didn't even get anything from bringing me on. He even asked the boss, like, could I get some kind of referral bonus or something for bringing him on? And the guy just said, well, we'll see. We'll see how he works out. I've been there almost a year, and he still never gave the dude nothing.
Wow. But how did you, now you say your buddy quit, what, 3 months ago?
Yeah, somewhere around there, maybe a little longer. I don't know, but
how did you feel?
Right.
How did you feel about that when you found out that he quit?
Oh, I didn't blame him because I wanted to quit. It just wasn't in the cards for me at the time. I told him, I said I ain't gonna be here much longer myself. I said I just got to get some things in order and try to make some money and get back on top of things, and then I'm out of here too. He straight up told me when he was quitting that he's like, it's just not the same as it was. He said, you can't make no money here no more. I mean, it just got to where you couldn't even, because my buddy, he's not one, he's like really trying to like make a whole lot of money. As long as he could bring home after taxes about $1,000 a week, he was happy, because that was enough for him to just do what he needed to do, because everything he's got to pay for, yada yada yada. But it got to where, like I said, you can't even make $1,000 with this guy. You can't. And I'm sorry, but anybody, I don't care if you've got 6 months to a year of experience. There's no reason why any truck driver should be out here on the road and away from their family for weeks or months at a time and not making at least $1,000 a week or better.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one. That's something that a lot of these newer truck drivers don't seem to understand, that in the beginning, you might not be making as much, but you get experience. And as the years progress, I figure about time you're a 5th year driver, you should be bringing home at least $1,000 or more. And the cent per mile should be somewhere between 60 and 70 coming in. That's my mode of thinking. But even though the average cent per mile these days is anywhere between 45 on the low end and 60 cent on the top end, and in order to get anything above 60 cent, you gotta go through hoops and do things that you normally wouldn't do. So I agree with you 100% on that.
Well, I've seen especially me looking for like a job right now and stuff. Of course, I don't have anybody to blame myself, because which I've got speeding tickets, which they're gonna fall off here soon, but because they're almost 3 years old now. But from what I've seen, there's a lot of them out there paying, I would say, around 50 cents a mile on the low end and as high as 70 on the high end, kind of what I'm seeing where I'm shopping around and looking at companies right now. But I remember when I started out, I got my CDL back in 2010. I started out at 28 cents a mile.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think of how much we started out as back in the day to what it is now. It's still crazy that the trucking industry still haven't given us the respect that we deserve, or given us the money that we deserve. We still coming in at what a person that's coming out of school coming into a company versus a person that got like 5, 10, 15 years. So a person out of school coming in at 60 cents a mile, and then a person with 5, 10, 15 years coming in at the same amount is ridiculous to me. but it is what it is, man.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree.
Let's circle around for a second right quick, bro. You said you got terminated because you had your weapon with you in the truck. What happened with that situation?
Well, I mean, I've always carried because, I mean, I just refuse. I mean, with some of the areas we have to go and everything, I refuse to have some way to protect myself. I mean, I know companies out here say there's no weapons allowed on the truck, which that's all company policy. There's no federal law stating that you can't carry a firearm in a commercial motor vehicle. Now, you do have to have proper licensing and everything for the states in which you travel through, and you need to be aware of those laws and everything, which I was. I am a concealed carry holder, and my concealed carry out of Louisiana covers pretty much all the states that I travel through. However, the only reason I got called up was because I was sitting on a 34 in Pennsylvania, and I basically just threw gun safety to the wind, so to speak. I made a rookie mistake. I was cleaning it and just taking it apart. Well, the particular weapon that I had, you can't pull the slide off if the hammer's cocked. Well, I never keep one in the chamber, and instead of checking it like you're supposed to, because you always check it, I didn't, and I just pulled the hammer, and it went off, and I ended up injuring my left hand, and therefore I had to go to the hospital and all, and then, of course, I had to contact the company saying, hey, this just happened, and all that. But, I mean, they were very cool about it, the company. They didn't put anything on my record about it. They just did an internal termination and just said, and they were even going to bring me back, because after I got healed up, I called them and said, look, I know I messed up, but I really liked working there. Is there any way I could come back? Well, they were going to let me, and I even quit the job that I had because I had went to work for another trucking company, but I didn't like it there. And I had asked him, could I come back? And he had talked to his boss and everything. And I ended up quitting the job I had to come home and then go back to work for them. Well, after I got home, when I called the guy, he was like, well, I hate to say this, like we were going to bring you back, but now my boss is acting like me and him never had that conversation, and he's saying that he doesn't want to bring you back. And he's like, I'm not going to get in an argument with my boss and get myself in trouble or get myself fired and everything. So unfortunately, this time we just can't bring you back. And then that's how I ended up at said company that I just quit.
So you could probably read between the lines and figure that the insurance probably had something to do with that decision.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt that. I mean, I was clearly a liability at that point, because I'm sure they got some flack for that too on their insurance, and I don't know if they got any charges or anything, because I know I didn't get any charges, because when the police and everything showed up at the scene and everything, they asked me, do you have any permits or anything? I said, yes, if you check my wallet, I have a concealed carry and everything, and that was the end of it. They didn't care. They did try to get me with a reckless endangerment charge, because they said technically I could have endangered people, because if the round had left the truck and being at a truck stop, it could have went out of my truck into another truck. But the fact of the matter is it didn't. It embedded in the mattress of the truck, and I had photos and everything to prove that and everything. And with my attorney, nothing came of that, so I didn't get charged with that. But the state of Pennsylvania did try to hem me up a little bit over it, but they weren't able to.
They tried to get you. I got my carry conceal license as well, and you're right. You definitely have to know the laws of the states that you are going through. You're exactly right about that.
Yeah, 100%. Because you got states like California and New York. It don't matter what state you have your concealed carry. You don't go in them states carrying a firearm, because like New York don't even allow handguns. Period. Right.
So again, that's more of a company policy type deal, as you mentioned about concealed carry or weapons on a truck, period. But some drivers just feel like if the company don't know, then it's not a problem. But the company is going to know when you definitely use it.
Exactly. And that's always kind of how I was about it. Like I said, I mean, most every company I've ever worked for, it's against company policy to carry a firearm in the truck. But like I said, I always have, and then I never had anything come of it because I never actually had to use it or anything. And I knew that if I ever did, then I'd have to explain. But at that point, I mean, I defended myself, and I'm still alive because of said situation. I can always just go find another job.
You rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6, man. That's your mode of thinking, and I like that.
So.
All right, so your hand did heal up good, right? It was a through and through?
I have full mobility and everything. Yeah, it was a through and through, and it shattered the bone for my middle finger. I've got a metal rod in there now, but it doesn't cause me any pain. I have full mobility of my hand. I can make a fist. I can move all my fingers. The only I guess, lasting thing that I really have from it is that, like, my index finger, like the inside of it, I guess there was some nerve damage, they said, and like the one side of my index finger closest to my thumb, I could feel everything, but the other side closest to my middle finger is completely numb, and it kind of tingles all the time. But that's the only really lasting effect from the injury that I still have.
Do your hand tingles when it rains?
It tingles all the time, even when it don't rain.
All right. So being that you was let go for that situation, but they didn't put nothing on your act report or anything like that, when you fill out applications, do you put that as a reason why you was let go, or do you just leave that part of it off when you fill out applications for new trucking
I don't even put on there that I was let go, because it's not on my record as I was terminated. They just, like I said, I was terminated, but as far as my record goes, I quit. There's nothing on there saying I was terminated or anything. It just says that I quit, resigned. Very, very good about the situation.
Drivers has been in precarious situations, not like yours, but they have been in precarious situations where they was let go for safety reasons. I want to ask you this and get your thought process on this. Some drivers feel that they should put the reason or reasons that they let go because they wanted to be transparent with these new trucking companies when they go and apply to them. What's your thought about not putting the safety situations on the application? Would you leave it off, or would you be transparent and let the company know that you was let go for a safety reason?
I mean, honestly, if something's not on my record, I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not really one for transparency or anything. I mean, if I know they're going to find it, then yeah, I'll list it on an application or whatever. But I was just always kind of raised and brought up that if you don't have to volunteer information, don't. You know what I mean? So if I don't have to tell them something, then I'm not. But I'm not going to lie either. If I know that they're going to find something, then I'm going to be upfront and honest about it.
Facts. All right. Okay. So the only other reason being that you didn't disclose that was hindering you back is because of the traffic violations that you have on your personal car, or was that in a commercial vehicle?
No, it was in a truck. The company that I had the injury with, they didn't really necessarily care about it. I mean, obviously I got a scolding like, hey, don't do that again, you know what I mean? But I had gotten 2 speeding tickets while I was there, and they were both pretty good ones. One was in New Mexico, but I actually managed to get that one dismissed, and it's no longer on my record. The other one, however, was in Indiana, and it is on my record, even though it really wasn't even a ticket. It was a warning, but it still shows up on your record the same as a ticket, which I feel like a lot of officers out here, they do that because they know that it's still going to show up on your record, and they know by giving you a warning, you can't fight it. If they give you a ticket, you can fight a ticket, but you can't fight a warning. So it just hurts you. And I feel like a lot of officers do that to drivers just to hurt them. That's just my opinion.
That's been the biggest debate in trucking conversations across all platforms, bruh. What is the difference between getting a ticket and getting a warning? And I will be first to say that it depends on who's giving the ticket. So if you're getting the ticket from DOT, state trooper, then yeah, that's gonna show up on your PSP, because usually when they give a ticket, they're gonna always do an inspection. And on that inspection report is gonna be the ticket violation.
Right, and it's like the one that I got on my record from Indiana. There's actually a story behind that, and that's why I said what I said about some officers I feel are just out there to damage truck drivers' records and everything. Because like I said, he gave me a warning, which he knew that it doesn't matter if it's a ticket or a warning, it's still going to affect you the same way. The only difference is if it's a ticket, you can go to court and fight it and potentially get out of it or get it reduced or whatever. A warning, you can't do that. But the speed warning was actually retarded anyway, because I was coming out of Indianapolis. Now, we all know the speed limit through Indianapolis is 55. But once you come out on the other side of Indianapolis there on 70, going towards Ohio, it picks back up to 70. I was doing 72. He pulled me over, and he had said, "You know why I pulled you over?" I said, "No, not really." He's like, "Well, you know the speed limit back there was 55. I said, "Yeah, but it's 70 here." He goes, "Yeah, but you're coming into a reduced 70. It's going to to 60 because there's a construction zone up there." I said, "Yes, but I'm not in the construction zone yet. The speed limit hasn't dropped yet, and there's no signs saying, 'Oh, we just haven't put the signs up.'" Well, if you haven't put the signs up, then how do I know that it's 60? So I told him straight up, I said, "Well, just write me the ticket then." I said, "I'll take it to court." He said, "Oh, no, I'm not writing you a ticket. I'm writing you a warning." I said, "No, I'd much rather have the ticket." He goes, "No, I'm just going to do a warning."
Wow.
Because he knew that was going to hurt me.
Jesus. That's mad diabolical right there, man. I'm in Indiana as we speak, and I'm doing maybe like 2 or 3 miles up under this 60 speed limit, going down 30 right now. But yeah, Indiana is freaking notorious, bro. Like they catching people doing 56, 57 and a 55. And I would think that you would get a grace, a 5-mile grace, but they don't even allow that. That's crazy.
No, and that's kind of always the rule of thumb I've always gone by. I mean, I know speeding is speeding. I mean, if you're going over the posted speed limit, I mean, you're obviously speeding, but I've always had a 5-mile over rule. And most time, I don't even think about the cops and anything. I'll pass them doing 5 miles, and 9 times out of 10 don't get bothered. But it's certain states like Indiana that I don't know if they're just money hungry or they got a vendetta against truck drivers or what. But Indiana is not a state to play around in, because like you said, you could be doing 1 to 2 miles over and they're gonna get you. And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give you a warning instead of a ticket because they know you can't fight it.
Who do you have fight your ticket battles? Do you pay into like programs like Legal Shield or anything of that matter?
I've had those before, and I mean, they are good programs. I currently don't have anything. Most of the time, I usually just, like the way I got out of the way I got the one in New Mexico dismissed, because that one was pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie, but it was kind of entrapment. I was doing 75, which is the speed limit out there in New Mexico. It was like 75, 80 anyway, but common sense says I was coming into a construction zone, so it was probably a reduced thing, but there was no posted signs until I got halfway through the construction zone. Then I seen the 55 sign, and I was like, oh shit, I need to slow down. And I did. I started slowing down, but by the time I saw the state trooper, I couldn't slow down in enough time that he didn't come pull me over. But all I did was I waited for the court date, I called prior, and I asked him, do I have to come all the way to New Mexico? Is there a way that I can do it over video chat, like a Zoom call or whatever? He said, well, we can do it over Google Meet. So when it came time for the court date, I just found me a truck stop and I pulled off and I logged into the Google Meet thing with the account number and everything that they gave me, and I talked to the judge face to face over video call, and I just played the stupid card. I was like, man, I just really, I don't make a habit of doing stuff like this, and blah, 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 and I'm sorry, if you could just cut me. He just went, hey man, I tell you what, he said, if you just make a $200 donation to our Crime Stopper unit, he said, we'll just call it good. And he said, I won't put it on your record or nothing. And that's what I did. I paid them $200 to their Crime Stopper unit or whatever, and they emailed me a letter of dismissal. And then I sent that into the FMCSA, and then they took it off my PSP.
Awesome. Okay. That was a great judge. Awesome judge. Shoot. You don't come across them often.
Right.
You definitely don't come across them often. All right. Again, Big Country, thank you for coming on and chopping it up with me, man. I ain't going to keep you too much longer. So as of right now, you did let the company go. You made your TikTok.
I mean, not one of my best decisions, but, you know.
What's next for you? You say you're out of Louisiana, but the company was in Florida, and it's not that many companies in Florida that's hiring right now, but I would assume there are a few in Louisiana that's hiring. So what's next for you?
Well, I don't really necessarily look for companies out of like where my home state is. As long as they can get me home is the main thing with me. I really don't know what's going to be next. I mean, I've got a couple companies in mind I'm going to call. I mean, like I said, I've still got a little bit of time until those tickets that I do have will fall off because they are almost 3 years old and they only stay on your PSP for 3 years. I mean, I'm going to try. I've also even given thoughts of maybe getting out of trucking for a little while because my dad owns his own business doing pressure washing, and he's in his 80s and planning on retiring this year. And I've been thinking about possibly taking that business over and doing that instead. But really just kind of taking it day by day. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. Just kind of rolling with the punches and see what happens right now.
Thank you very much for stopping by, sitting down, and chopping it up with me, man. I really do appreciate it.
Well, no problem. Like I said, I've seen your channel before, and, you know, I like your content. I actually thought it was pretty cool that you actually reached out. I was like, oh, crap, I actually get to be on this. Like, you know,